This is the first in a series of videos revising parts of the third year course. Question 1, straight line. Find the equation of the straight line shown in the diagram. Well, what we need to do is to get 2 points that lie on the line. And to take this point here, that's the point 0, 6. And this point here, that's the point 3, 0. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. First thing I want to do is to work out the gradient of the line. The formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, 0 minus 6 over 3 minus 0. And that gives us minus 6 over 3, which is minus 2. I'm going to use the formula y minus b equals m bracket x minus a. I can use either point. Let me just take this one, that's a, and that's b. So y minus 6 equals minus 2, x minus 0, y minus 6 equals minus 2x, and we can add 6 to both sides. That's the equation of the line. So that was part A. Part B wants us to find the point of intersection of this line here and this line here. Now, so y equals x plus 3 and y equals minus 2x plus 6 is equation 1 and equation 2. What we can do is, because we've got one y here and one y here, we can set the equations equal. So x plus 3 then equals minus 2x plus 6. Gather together the x terms. So 3x plus 3 equals 6. Subtract 3. 3x equals 3. And then x equals 1. Now, what I'm going to do is to substitute that value back into equation 1. So y equals is equation 1 here, so I'm going to replace this x with the value 1, so 1 plus 3, which is 4. So the point of intersection then has coordinates x equals 1 and y equals 4. And we can leave it like that, or we can put it into a bracket. Question 2, a question on statistics. So we have a dot plot here. What we should really have is a label on the axis. So anyway, we can see that from this information here. The dot plot shows the time taken in minutes for 12 pupils to get from one class to the next class. What is the probability that one of these pupils, chosen at random, took longer than 4 minutes? Now, which dots represent times longer than 4 minutes? It's these two dots here, which represent 6 minutes, and this dot here. The formula for the probability is the number of desired outcomes over the number of possible outcomes. So the probability that the time is greater than 4, or the desired outcomes, there are 3 dots. And the number of possible is 12. So 3 out of 12 gives us 1/4. We can leave it as 1/4, or write as a decimal 0.25. Question 3. Work on algebra. Multiply out. So we'll leave the first term, the 3a. So 2a times a is 2a squared. 2a times minus 3 is minus 6a. That's minus 1a. And minus 1 times minus 3 is a plus 3. Now what we can do is start gathering like terms. So there's an a term. There's another a term. And here's third and final a term. So I'm going to put this one first. So that's 2a squared. Now 3a take away 6a is minus 3a. Take away 1a is minus 4a. Part B, we want to factorise. So it's quite tricky. Factors of 3, factors of 5. We're fortunate in that both of these are prime numbers. We want to be able to get 14, so that's going to be simple enough. What we'll do is we'll arrange the numbers like this. So the 3 and the 5 will multiply together to give us 15, and the 1 and the 1 will multiply together to give us a 1, and from a 15 and a 1 we can get a 14. So 3 and 1, 3x and 1x, and then 1 and 5. Now, this is a negative sign. That means that the signs in the brackets are different. We want a plus 14, so it's going to be a plus 15. These two multiplying together will give us the plus 15x, and the negative will go in here because the signs have to be different. Question 4. So what we want to do is to fill in as many of the missing angles as possible. We want the size of angle CDT. Now angle CDT is this angle in here. So the first thing is, this line is a tangent. We are told that in the question. So this is the tangent. I need to remember that a tangent meets a radius at 90 degrees. This is a radius here. So this angle will be a 90-degree angle. So this angle here plus this angle must make up 90, because these two giving us 90 plus the right angle makes 180 degrees. 25 plus what? 25 plus 65 will give us the answer that we want. So this angle in here is 65 degrees. Now this angle plus the 65 give us a straight angle, which is 180 degrees. So what do we add on to 65 to get 180? We add on 115 degrees. So this angle in here is 115 degrees. Now the next thing, we're almost there. What we have to do next is to realise that this triangle CTD is an isosceles triangle. It has two equal sides, so it must have two equal angles. These two angles here are the same. And how do I find those angles? Well, 180 degrees, take away 115 degrees, divided by 2. So that's 65 degrees over 2. That's 32.5 degrees. So angle CDT equals 32.5 degrees. Question 5, a nice simple question. So V equals 2xy plus 6, and we want to get x as the subject. So we'll subtract 6 from both sides. Then we'll divide by 2y. I'm going to turn the equation round at the same time, so x then equals v minus 6 over 2y. Question 6, the last question. What we want to do is to show that the area of the shape is 3x squared plus 1. Now that's quite a tricky thing to do. There are different ways of dealing with this shape here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in a dotted line like so. So I'm going to work out the area of the full rectangle. In fact, it's a square. And we can see that because the length and the breadth are the same. So the area then is length times breadth, and that's 2x times 2x. Now 2 times 2 is 4, and x times x is x squared. Next, what I'm going to do is to work out this area here. That's a rectangle. So it's x plus 1 multiplied by x minus 1. So that's, if we expand the bracket, x times x is x squared, minus 1x plus 1x minus 1. And if we simplify that, we get x squared minus 1. Now if I want to work out the area of this part here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract from the total area of the square the area of this piece here, which has been cut out. So I'm going to take away this. Now you'll notice I'm using a bracket. So it's 4x squared. Now, if we expand this bracket, it's minus 1 times x squared is minus x squared, and minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. There isn't a 1 written in front of this bracket, but we have to imagine that there is. So 4x squared, take away x squared is 3x squared plus 1, the desired answer.